Hello, welcome to the 30k channel dedicated to the game set in the Horus Heresy. I'm your host, as always, David Brains, and I've been joined by James Brown.
I feel good. No.
He did it so you don't have to. Second appearance, James.
Yes. Hopefully it'll go better than last time.
Yeah.
Curtis, I will beat him, so I won't lose twice.
Really great to have James back. He played an awesome game against Curtis Spears and his great Death Guard. And Curtis with his very, very lush voice. I got a lot of emails about Curtis saying he should be in podcasting or he should do something wild and crazy. He's got a good voice, eh? But we're here, challenge the channel. The Raven Guard have come to take on the Iron Hands. Oh yeah.
I'm showing off the t-shirt, not anything else.
Not your physique. It's a little unfortunate that we've got Raven Guard against Iron Hands because, you know, they're both essentially loyalist players. But, you know, the whole scenario is that the Iron Hands and Autek Mor are locked up in this Space Hulk or in this building or wherever they are, and they're being boarded. And they don't know what's going on in the wider Heresy universe, and they just want to survive.
Then the doors open, they don't see anything, and then bullets start flying their way.
Exactly right. So James has brought a really, really interesting list. You've got a lot of troops.
Yes.
How many have you got? It was 50.
50.
Yeah.
50 on the nose.
50 troops versus my 45 Immortals, Autek Mor, and 2 Contemptors. So you got some firepower, don't you?
Oh yeah. Everything that can have plasma has plasma, and anything else that can has strength 5 and at least AP 2.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean that's going to be really, really cool. So we're really looking forward to this. Yeah, we were just as a point of interest, we were going to do a little bit of forced perspective here because James is quite a tall chap. How tall are you?
6'4".
Jeebus! I'm 5'7", so we were going to do a bit of Lord of the Rings special.
5'5" was that?
7.
7.
Don't be cheeky. Okay. Don't be cheeky. We were going to do a bit of forced perspective and kind of. It would have looked weird me looking. Yeah.
That's a bit better now.
That's way better.
A little bit shorter.
That's way better. All good. James is a really good fun guy. Come from Nottingham.
Yep, so not too far.
Excellent. We collected him from the station this morning, so we've tried to feed him, but you've declined food and drink.
I've had breakfast. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I'm like a little hobbit in both stature and by appetite. I like to eat a lot.
So you've had third breakfast, going on fourth.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to a crunchy bar later on. Maybe you've got one out there, I don't know. Anyway, let's get on with the game. We're going to go into James's list, work out exactly what this awesome Raven Guard army has got, and then we'll get on to the first turn.
Yes.
Great stuff.
2,000 points of Raven Guard strike force with the decapitation strike, Rite of War, led by a Praetor with the inspiring presence, Warlord trait. Leading the Raven Guard force today is a Praetor, and he's being accompanied by a Morragul. The Praetor has Artificer Armour, a Bolt Pistol, Digital Lasers, Iron Halo, a Mastercrafted Paragon Blade, Melter Bombs, and the Morragul has Artificer Armour, Chameleon, Melter Bombs, Plasma Pistol, and a Refractor Field. For elite slots, the Raven Guard have 2 exactly the same Mordathan squads. The Shade has Artificer Armour and a Melter Bomb, and a Combi Plasma Gun. There are 3 other plasma guns and 5 combi plasmas in each. For the Raven Guard's troops, they have 2 identical tactical squads with additional close combat weapons, and that is all the upgrades for them. Raven Guard fast attack slots 1 and 2 are 2 identically equipped Seeker squads. They all have their special combi weapons, and the sergeants have melter bombs. Raven Guard one and only heavy support choice is a 10-man plasma cannon squad. They've all been given void hardened armour, and they're ready to shoot some stuffs.
1,985 points of Iron Hands running the Company of Bitter Iron, Rite of War. The Warlord trait is Murderous Arsenal, and the force is led by Autek Mor. Leading the Iron Hands is Autek Mor. He's equipped in Califracti Terminator armour. He's equipped with a servo harness, Cortex controller, Paragon Blade, and Volkite Charger. His Warlord trait is Murderous Arsenal, which gives him and a unit he joins preferred enemy special rule, which allows him to reroll fail to hit and to wounds roll of 1 when attacking its hated foe in the shooting and combat phase. Elites are 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts, both armed with Carey's assault cannons. Both have chain fists, but one has a inbuilt graviton gun and the other an inbuilt melter gun. Both have been upgraded to have extra armour. Troops for the Iron Hands. Because I'm using the Bitter Iron Rite of War, it makes all Immortals squads as troops. I've taken 3 squads of 15 Iron Hands Immortals, all armed with Volkite chargers. 3 have been upgraded to take melter guns. The Sergeant is equipped with Artificer armor, a melter bomb, and a breaching charge. The Immortals gain the Immortal Hatred special rule, which gives them hatred against traitors, and that allows them to reroll all fails to hit rolls during the first turn of each close combat phase. They also have the Bitter Duty special rule, and that gives them the Stubborn special rule whilst in the enemy's deployment zone.
We're deployed, ready to go. Now, I have to say, James, you know, you virtually your whole of your army infiltrated, isn't it?
I had 2 tactical squads holding the gates, or the console, sorry, and everything else is now 12 inches away.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, I had a decision whether I was, because my deployment zone is 1 tile outside the door, so I could have opened the doors and deployed an inch out, and then it would have put James at 18 inches. But
my Mordathans and my Moratat all have scout, so they get a 6-inch move and 6 inches again, so I'd still be 6 inches away at the start of the turn.
Exactly. So I figured it's probably best that he comes to me. At least then we won't have 2 turns of not very much happening. You know, this game is going to, either you will wipe me out or I'll wipe you out. I don't even think we're going to get to turn 5. So I think it's going to be really fast and furious. So what you got?
Turn 3.
Turn 3? God. All right, well, I think it's going to be a really exciting game.
Yep.
James, good luck to you.
All the best to you.
And we'll see what happens.
Raven Guard, turn 1, movement phase. The Raven Guard tactical squads at the back opens the doors using the consoles in front of the Iron Hands, ready for everything else to shoot. The Seekers remain still, and the Mordathan move forward 3 inches, and the Moratat move forward a full 6, ready to open fire. The plasma cannons are lining up their shots, and ready to release a fuselage of pain. Raven Guard, turn 1, shooting. The Moratat opened up with his chain fire from plasma pistols, hitting 11 times due to preferred enemy. 1 gets hot roll, which he saved, and managed to do 2 precision shots on the Sergeant, of which he failed 1 of the Feel No Pains, and 8 more wounds, of which 6 were failed from Feel No Pains and Invulnerable saves. Continuing the Raven Guard shooting phase, the Heavy Support Squad fired at what was the Medusan Immortal Squad. The Sergeant, however, couldn't control his weapon and so blew up through a Gets Hot. But out of 58 hits, the squad was killed and 4 scattered onto the back Mordathan Squad, Medusan Immortal Squad, and 2 failed their Invulnerable saves and Feel No Pains. As Dave said, nasty, nasty plasmas. The Raven Guard Seeker squads both fired into the Medusan Immortal squads, able to kill 2 through normal armor saves and Feel No Pain. And that rounds up the shooting phase for the Raven Guard.
Iron Hands, turn 1, movement. Well, what an absolutely devastating turn from the Raven Guard. You know, lost the entire 15-man Immortal squad to those plasma cannons there, which was amazing, and then lost 7 Immortals from Autek Mor squad, so not very good at all. So what I've tried to do is I've tried to mitigate as much damage coming at me in the next turn. So my whole army is moved off the left-hand side, which means those plasma cannons are going to be redundant, perhaps for most of the game, although they will be quite prevalent when it comes to the last couple of turns and James clearing out my objective, my deployment zone. So we'll have to see how that goes. As I said, the entire force has moved left. The rear Contemptor is going to target the Moratat and hopefully kill him. If not, I've got another Contemptor there to either shoot or charge. This Immortal Squad with Autek Mor is just going to put some Volkites into the Plasma squads into the Mordathan rather, just to reduce the firepower coming in the next turn. I'm hopefully going to force James to make a decision to either target my troops or my Contemptor with the plasmas. So it's a bit of a long shot, but I love a challenge, and we are playing Challenge the Channel. So let's see how we get on. Iron Hands, turn 1 shooting. A slight change of plan. I decided to use the Immortal squad with Autek Mor to try and take out the Moritat. I'm really unfortunate. I hit 3 times with the melter guns, but rolled 2 1s and a 2s to wound. So I got 1 wound, but then James made a really awesome 4-up cover save. So 5 for intervening models, and then 1 for chameleon line. So we saved that, and then I shot the Volkites into him. Got 1 wound, so he rolled a 1 for his save, and then I got Deflagrate, caused a wound, and James rolled a 1. So great news in killing the Moritat. It really helped me out. That chain fire was absolutely devastating. Now I've got 2 Contemptors to fire into the Mordathan. Continuing on with the Contemptors, I fired both of them into the Mordathan squad on the right hand side, and only managed to kill 3, which was really, really unfortunate. The melter gun from the first Contemptor hit, but rolled a 1 to wound, so that was really unfortunate. That would have stopped that sergeant from tanking all on his 2-up. But nevertheless, it was okay. I'm okay with where I am for the end of this turn. That's all I've got. I've definitely mitigated a lot of the firepower coming in next turn. All I need to worry about now is these plasma shots. So I need to decide. James will need to decide whether he's going to try and take out the Contemptor or Autek Mor squad behind. So let's see what he gets up to.
Raven Guard, turn 2, movement phase. Following the victory from the plasma cannons, the Seekers have pushed up, trying to force the Immortals back. The plasma cannons have moved up as they are no longer in sight of anything. And the Mordathan are getting ready to destroy what is left of Autek Mor's squad and the Contemptor Dreadnought. 2 birds with 1 plasma gunshot. Turn 2, Raven Guard, shooting. The Mordathan, the smaller squad, opened fire into the Contemptor Dreadnought. They used their Fatal Strike special ability, giving them Twin Linked, which saved the Sergeant and 1 other member of the Mordathan. Out of all the shots, 1 6 was rolled on plasma, and unfortunately the Contemptor failed its invulnerable save and an immobilized result was rolled. Continuing the shooting, the Raven Guard Mordathan squad fired into Autek Mor's squad, killing 5 with a mix of plasma and bolt guns. And now it'll be on to the Seekers to see what they can do to the remaining Immortals. Finishing off the Raven Guard shooting phase, the Seekers fired into the Medusan Immortals, but to ill effect. The other Seeker squad ran a full 6 inches, and even with Fleet, the Heavy Weapon squad only managed a 1-inch run. That concludes the Raven Guard turn 2.
Iron Hands, turn 2 movement. Wow, what a game. Turn 2, and already my force has been seriously depleted, and one of the Contemptors has got a hull point and an immobilized result, so not good. Autek Mor has moved into contact with the Contemptor. He's going to try and repair that immobilized result, and if he does, then the Contemptor will charge into those Mordathan in the same turn. The rest of the squads have moved over to the left-hand side, and I plan on annihilating both of those squads this turn. Wish me luck. Iron Hands shooting turn 2. Mixed results here. The front Contemptor fired into the Mordathan squad on the left hand side. Killed 3 or 4 Marines. Wasn't very effective. Missed with the melter gun, unfortunately. And then the Contemptor at the rear fired his graviton gun and his carries again into the Mordathan squad on the right hand side. Killed a couple. And killed 1 from the Mordathan squad on the left. So not too bad. James will need to take a leadership test at some point for that, which we'll do in a minute. And now I've got Autek Mor. He tried to do a repair on the Contemptor and failed, unfortunately. So that was a real shame. Would love to have had that charging in the assault phase. So all I've got now is I've got 2 melters and a Volkite left to shoot from this squad on the left. And then Volkite and Melter from this squad. I'm going to try and reduce this Mordathan squad quite heavily. That will hopefully really help starting to turn the game for me, but we're not sure. Continuing on with the shooting phase, not bad, not bad. The Melter gun and the Volkite shot into the Mordathan squad on the left-hand side, killed a couple of Marines, which was fantastic. And then on the right-hand side here, the 3 Melters and I think it was 16 Volkite shots went in, managed to kill the Sergeant, which was crucial. So I was really, really pleased about that. The Mordathan have both passed their leadership test, so they're not going anywhere. And now we go into James's third turn.
Raven Guard, turn 3, movement. The Mordathan moved up, seeing that the Iron Hands, Autek Mor, had moved out of coherency with everything else trying to repair the Contemptor, and so is now easy prey for them. The Seekers and the Plasma Cannons have all moved up, trying to get a flank, and this final Seeker squad has stayed hidden. And as for tactical squads, they're enjoying their nice R&R at the back of the board. Raven Guard, turn 2, shooting. The Plasma Cannons, yet again, with fleet, ran a whole 1 inch. And the Seekers replicated said action by failing to wound any of the Medusan Immortals with Kraken shots. Continuing the Raven Guard shooting phase, the Mordathan fired a hail of plasma into Autek Mor's face, and getting through his invulnerable save, and now he has 1 and 1 only wound remaining. The second smaller Mordathan squad fired what remained of their weapons into Autek Mor, but unfortunately his invulnerable save held, and they were unsuccessful in killing him. Next turn, he will die.
Iron Hands, turn 3 movement. Autek Mor had an amazing lucky escape. I rolled some really good 3+ invulnerables there to save against those plasmas, so really pleased to keep him alive. He has stayed in base contact with that Contemptor. He's going to try and repair that immobilized result. I'm a bit stuck here, really, and I really need that Contemptor to either die or be repaired. The larger Immortal squad that's left, they've just orientated around slightly. We need to finish this squad off this turn, and then the Contemptor on the rear here, he's got some options. He could either peel a couple of wounds off here or fire into the Mordathan squad. Not too sure just yet. And then the 2 Melters and the Volkite Immortals there are going to try and get rid of these Immortals. The Mordathan. So fingers crossed. Could have a really pivotal turn here. The game is not lost. It's still as close as it could be. Iron Hands, turn 3, shooting phase. Great news beginning of the turn. Autek Mor managed to repair the immobilized result on the front Contemptor, which is fantastic news. Then combined firepower from the recently repaired Contemptor, the 2 Melters and the Volkites from the rear Immortal squad shot into the Mordathan on the left-hand side and took out the entire unit. So that's taken off a lot of pressure. Now we're going to do the Contemptor at the back. It's going to fire through and try and take out the 3 remaining Mordathan. Well, I did say I wanted to take out the Mordathan squad on the right-hand side, but I didn't manage it. I scored only 2 rending and 1 normal wound with the Kerry's assault cannon, but James made some amazing saves, and that Mordathan squad is still alive. Very, very disappointing. Now we will shoot this large Immortal squad into the Seekers on my right flank. Final act of the Iron Hands shooting phase. I shot 3 Melters into the Seekers and only scored 1 wound, which was really unfortunate, and killed 1 Marine. And then I had 16 Volkite shots, which only hit 7 times, which was really, really appalling, and only managed to kill 1 of the Seekers, which was the Sergeant, so it wasn't too bad. This did force James onto having taking a leadership test, which he passed. And now we're on to Raven Guard turn 4.
Raven Guard, turn 4, movement. With a last-ditch effort, the Raven Guard are pushing forward. Even the plasma cannons are moving up. But the tactical squads right at the back are staying still. Again, Mordathans have pushed up to try and kill Autek Mor. Even the Praetors move around to the right-hand flank. Everything needs to get through and push back. Hold the objective line and win the game. Raven Guard, turn 4, shooting. The Seekers opened up, getting a precision shot on the Sergeant, but luckily he had Artificer armor to absorb the Kraken bolt. But luckily another Medusan Immortal went down to the remaining shots. Now on to the most important shooting phase. Death to Autek Mor. The Mordathan did as they were told to do, and they killed Autek Mor with plasma. Corvus will be happy, and Ferrous Manus can't really complain. The Raven Guard Plasma Cannon squad finally run more than 2, so ran 5 inches and cuddled up. But the play of the game were the Mordathan, destroying Autek Mor and leaving the left flank open and the right flank well defended by 2 Contemptors, but hopefully, if Mor can go down, anything can go down.
Iron Hands, turn 4 movement phase. I've had to play really tactically now because James did an absolutely spectacular job of cutting off the advance of that Contemptor. Really, I wanted the Contemptor to move 6 inches forwards and have a line of sight down to the Plasma Squad. But unfortunately, he doesn't, and I have to stay an inch away. So I've played really cautious. I've moved it back out of line of sight. I've changed my mind now. So he's going to try and take out the Plasma Squad, or I will use these 3 Immortals there to take out the Mordathan, and then I might run the Contemptor up into that space, ready for a final last turn charge into this unit here, these Tactical Marines. Sorry, the Seekers, excuse me. And then on the right-hand side here, the other Contemptors move forward. I've only got one... I can only hit one of those Plasma heavy weapons team with a Carries, but I can get the Graviton gun in there, so that might help. And then this squad has moved forward. Now I plan to shoot through this Seeker squad into the heavy weapon squad at the back. You know, remember, James can win the game by having 1 model in my deployment zone, so I need a wipeout to make this work. So I've thrown all my eggs into one basket, and I'm going to go as hard as I can. Iron Hands, turn 4 shooting. My plan is going to plan. The 2 Melters and the Iron Hands with a Volkite shot into the 3 Mordathan and wiped them out. So that's fantastic news. Now, depending on what happens on this right-hand side flank, I may decide to run this Contemptor, hopefully get in 3 or 4, and then he'll be poised, ready to go in the next turn, and it will force James to make a decision about that Contemptor, because if he doesn't take it out, it will charge into one of his squads, so it will just force him to make some decisions. Now we're going to go on with shooting into the Plasma support squad at the back here. Wow, what a turn the Raven Guard have just had, or saving throws rather. So 3 melter guns shot into the heavy weapons team, killing 2, which was fantastic. And then I had 14 Volkite shots into the Plasma Gunners again, and I scored 8 wounds, and James rolled 5 6s and 3 5s for his save. So that was really unfortunate for me, but fantastic news for Raven Guard. So some really amazing saves there. Now my plan's not quite going to plan, and I'll have to shoot the Contemptor Dreadnought into the Plasma Gunners. After checking line of sight, the Contemptor at the back here couldn't draw a bead onto the Plasma Gunners, so I've had to fire at the Seeker squad in front. I managed to kill 1, and they passed their leadership. They're not going anywhere. And then also the Plasma Gunners passed their leadership as well. So now we're at a really pivotal game. I was going to run this Contemptor forward to give James, to make him force a decision whether he's going to shoot the Plasma Gunners at the Contemptor, or if they were going to shoot the Immortal squad. I personally think James will go for the Immortal squad in front, and then the Contemptor will come around the corner next turn, fire, and maybe charge. So remember, I need to keep James out of that first row of tiles in my deployment zone for me to win the game. I think it's going to be incredibly close. Let's see what he does.
Raven Guard, turn 5, movement. 1 last push needed, and the Seekers are moving around to stop the Contemptor Dreadnought from charging through. The other squad of Seekers is staying put, has moved, to hold the deployment and keep out of line of sight. The Plasma Cannons have stayed still, readying, waiting, and fire! Raven Guard, turn 5, shooting. The Plasma Cannons did what they needed to do and killed 8, including the Sergeant of Medusan Immortals. Luckily for the Iron Hands, they made their leadership and are standing strong. Due to 2 gets hot, 1 killing themselves, 1 scattering and missing, and 1 doing nothing to the Dreadnought. Plasma Cannons have done well, and I will be bringing them again. The last part of the Raven Guard shooting was the Praetor running forward in a last-ditch effort to hold the Iron Hands deployment zone. On to the Iron Hands to see how much devastation they can wrought.
Iron Hands, turn 5 movement, and what an incredibly close game. The Contemptor on the left-hand side has moved forward. He's going to target the 5-man Seeker squad in front of him with his carries and his Melter and then charge them. The squad at the back there, the 2 Melter and the Volkite, are going to try and kill the last 2 remaining Seekers in that squad there. So at the end of this turn, hopefully I'll be able to wipe that middle section out. Then coming back to my lines, the 2 Immortals there are going to fire into the Plasma Gunners, try and thin those numbers a little bit. And then finally, the other Contemptor will fire everything he's got to reduce that squad. That will put me in a really, really good position for the last turn for the Iron Hands. So all I need now is a little bit of luck on the shooting. Iron Hands, turn 5 shooting. Not bad, not bad. The 2 Immortals shot their Volkites into the Plasma Gunners, killing 1, which was great news. And then the Graviton Gun and the carries shot into the remainder, killing 3 and leaving 2. This did force them onto leadership test, which James passed on a 10, and because he's got inspiring presence from his Praetor, they were in range and they held fast. So some really, really great rolling there from James. Next, we're going to try and deal with these 2 Seeker squads. Not so good over here. The Melter in the Contemptor missed, rolling a 1 to hit, which is really unfortunate. And the carries only hit 3 times and caused 1 wound in the end. It's really unfortunate. And James made his save, and that was on the front 5-man Seeker squad. The 2 Melters and the Volkite then shot into the rear squad, with one of the Melters killing one of the Seekers. James then passed his leadership test. So it hasn't gone ideally as well as I'd liked, but now the Contemptor is going to charge the 5-man Seeker squad. Iron Hands, turn 5 assault phase. The Contemptor charged into the Seeker squad. Didn't kill any on the Hammer of Wrath, unfortunately, but managed to squish 3 of the Marines. The Seeker squad couldn't attack back, apart from the Sergeant, which had a Melter Bomb, which failed to hit. James amazingly passed his leadership test, so that squad is still tied up in combat. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. It just makes my life a little bit harder for the final turn, but at least it can't get shot at, which will guarantee me some attacks in the next turn. Oh man, it's such a close game. We're on to James's and the Raven Guard's 6th and final turn.
Raven Guard, movement, turn 6. The Praetor has charged up the lines, trying to hold the objective line, as has the last Seeker. 1 Plasma Cannon has moved to let him through, and the other one is filled with targets. Hopefully, he'll make the right choice, and there might not be much left. Hoping. Raven Guard, turn 6 shooting. The Plasma Cannons elected to fire at the Medusan Mortals, and unfortunately scattered onto Contemptor, but were unable to hurt it. The Praetor, in a last-ditch effort with the Seeker, ran 6 and 5 inches, hoping, clinging to the hope of winning the game. Raven Guard, turn 6 assault phase. The Contemptor did what Contemptors do and walked through the 2 remaining Seekers, rolling 4 and consolidate, ready to cut down my Praetor, or the Seeker if he doesn't die. Fingers crossed he fails to do both.
6th and final turn for the Iron Hands, and they have closed in, and we are going for the wipeout. Well, I say wipeout, there's still 20 tactical Marines left on the board, but I'm going to try and wipe out everything in this sector. The 2 Immortals with Melter and 1 with the Volkite have moved over, and they plan on killing the final Seeker Marine. Really important that happens, because if we do, it means then the Contemptor can then charge the Praetor. Well, he will shoot and charge the Praetor, so that's really important that that happens. The other Contemptor has shot forward. I don't have any line of sight to the Seeker or the Praetor, but we're going to try and kill the last 2 remaining Plasma Gunners. And then the 2 Immortals have moved up, and we're going to try and reduce some wounds on the Praetor before the Contemptor gets there, or we'll use the firepower to finish the Seeker off. So we're overlapping fire lanes here, and we're hoping to do the business. So wish me luck. Here it is. After all Immortals units have opened up, the Iron Hands have taken it. So to quickly run you through what happened, it was actually the Volkite that shot at the Seeker that had gone to ground to get that extra cover save. He shot and killed the Seeker on the floor, which was fantastic news. The Contemptor then fired his melter gun into the Praetor, which hit but rolled a 1 to wound, so missed. And then the Carries opened up. I think I got 2 rending and 4 wounds. And then James was just really unfortunate with his saves and failed to save it, and the Praetor died to the hail of fire from the Carries assault cannon. So really unfortunate. The Carries and the Volkites from the 2 units on the left-hand flank here fired at the Plasma Gunner squads, but just couldn't get through their armour. My hits and wounds were absolutely terrible. But anyway, at the end of the game, on turn 6, the Iron Hands deployment zone is safe, and the Iron Hands have done it.
Wow, what a game. I mean, I'm just speechless. I don't really know what to say.
5 models and 2 Contemptors. Don't think you've had any less than that.
I mean, James did an absolutely spectacular job of killing those squads. You know, that opening round of firepower.
It kind of went downhill very slowly from there, but...
Well, you know, oh man. Losing that Immortal squad broke my heart in the first turn.
Well, 58 wounds, you're not going to save them all on 6s and 5s.
Yeah. And that Moritat as well. Let's not forget about that Moritat. He was just like...
Killed the sergeant and 9 wounds, 8 wounds.
It was unreal. You know, you definitely get the prize for the most Immortals killed in the first turn, without a doubt.
Well, what did we work out? 15, 2 and 8, so I killed... 25 out of 45 Immortals
on the first turn. It was just unreal. And the fact that James had those special rules, the infiltrate rule, you moved up and you were right there in my face, and it was fantastic. You know, usually the Iron Hands, they do come out. I do try to come out and meet the opponent. I don't just want to sit castled up, but I figured...
Well, you didn't have a choice.
No, well, that's right. I didn't, did I?
Well, I think the thing that castles do the most was the immobilization on the Contemptor. On turn 2.
I was about to say that. For me, Autek Mor repairing that Contemptor was totally pivotal to my whole game.
And pivotal to my game was him dying and not repairing.
Yeah, exactly right.
Because it was just a small enough gap that your Marines couldn't get through.
Yeah.
But a large enough gap for me to still shoot through.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a really, really close game. And it wasn't until the very end where I started moving stuff around and just getting some overlapping fire, because... I had moments of brilliance with my rolling, and then other times it was just really, really appalling.
Well, what was it? 3 hits with your Contemptor hitting on 2s, and 1 wound?
It was just appalling. Yeah, and those melter guns in the fist, they're great, but
4 1s out of 5 shots.
I either rolled a hit and then rolled a 1 to wound, or rolled a 1 to hit straight off, and it was just an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. One thing we did talk about is my tactical Marines right at the back. If everything had gone right with runs and stuff, they might be about 8 inches from the deployment zone.
Yeah.
So if you want to contest that, if I'd rolled all 6s, yes.
Yeah.
If I'd just rolled average of 3s and 4s because of fleet, I'd have been a bit further away.
It's tricky, isn't it? Because what a lot of people do that have been on the channel that have played this game, they've put 1 in an inch of the console, and then they've just 2 inch, 2 inch, 2 inch, and the squad is, and then at least you're going to get some long range firepower. Then the rest of the squad can come in, because once those doors are open, that's the job done, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just I needed your front doors opening.
Yes,
and then just marched in with plasma and and then dead bodies and scream. I know you made all your leaderships, so there was no screaming.
I was really lucky, and Autek Mor did hold out, and he's fearless and confers out to the squad, so they do stay still.
He doesn't have feel no pain though, which is a big help.
Yeah.
2 wounds.
Such a shame, isn't it?
What do you mean such a shame? He's toughness 5. He's a tough Praetor.
He's very, very tough. He's very good. I was disappointed not to get him in combat, but he repaired the Dreadnought, which was absolutely
game changing. Yeah,
we needed that. So James, thank you so much for coming on.
Here's our friendly handshake.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. I think James put up an absolutely spectacular game. And as we said in the opening round, those wounds caused the Immortals was just unreal. James, if we want to follow you on Instagram, where can we go?
It's JBS_paintings. Now my house has been done a bit better. We actually have a study to take photos in, so there'll be a lot more added, mostly of Raven Guard, Word Bearers and some Custodies.
Great.
But as it stands, moving house is probably not the best idea.
No. I'm just about to move house myself, and it's a bit of a nightmare. But so if you have any direct questions for James, please go to his Instagram and ask him directly. I still get a lot of people ask me about the games, and I just can't answer the questions because I have so much going on. So please deal with James directly. That'd be amazing if you can.
Don't deal with me. I want to live and play more games on the channel.
We'll get you back, no doubt. We're really short on Raven Guard players. There's not that many out there. We've got Daz Crompton, who came on a few months ago.
Yeah, great guy. He's a fantastic guy.
Yeah, he's
awesome. He also does Wolves.
Ah, okay. So we'll see if we can get Daz back as well. But James is a really great Raven Guard player. He's got such a large and varied list.
Yeah, 6,000 something points.
Yeah.
Contemptors, drop pods, dreadnoughts.
Yeah, loads. So we'll definitely get him back.
I'll try and bring Corvus on.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be really awesome. Yeah, cool. And now, I've not taken that many photos because we were so fast getting through the game. So I've probably taken about 25, 30 photos. So please go to the Facebook page, have a look at those photos, give us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you thought of the game. James?
Well, turn one, it's not really a photo, but it's more of a magic trick from Mordacious got disappearing.
It's like bonk bonk?
Yep.
Thank you so much for James for coming. We're definitely going to get him back. And thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next game.
See ya.